What's up? You're off in God's country with Reid
and Dan
Isbo. Also known as the Brothers Hunt, where we take a weekly drive to the intersection of country music and the great outdoors. Two things that go together like ducks and Arkansas.
Arkansas threw me off. Or guys that want you to think they know how to hunt and that have hunted their whole lives, but revealed themselves by saying bows and arrows.
The double S is bows.
Yeah, I hunt with bows and arrows.
Not bow and arrow.
Not one.
Bows and arrows.
Actually, you would just say bow. Brought to you by MeatEater.
We're excited about this one. We've been on his podcast a couple times, and he's going to be a recurring character on ours. Mr. Bobby Bones.
A character. A definite, character of a human.
No doubt. No doubt.
He's got so many little things, like from the glasses and the good hair and the dry sense
all
of
works,
humor.
right?
It's like a character.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's like he's drawn up.
His story's great. He touches on it a little bit today, but his journey, and then he touches on the state of country music, and then we may have a little drone situation going on over his house that one thing I wanted to talk about, he videoed one of those drones
from the bathtub?
In the bathtub, and
you forgot.
I'm a bath guy too, so I want to talk to him about that.
Little tubbers, you guys are tubbers.
But you'll really enjoy this one. Hey, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Go follow us on social media. Go follow us on YouTube. Leave us a comment. What
are we calling this segment? Roast us in the. What is it?
5-star roast for ratings.
Yeah, roast for ratings. Yeah,
we had
a good one, dude. Let me read it. Squirrely Dan.
This is coming from who? Dry Mountain Hunter
and can't read. Let someone else do all the work for them. Show up, shoot the deer, and then call themselves good hunters. What they need to be hunting is some new podcast guests, because everyone is getting tired of listening to Dan talk about the 2 hundo he shot out of the truck window 3 months ago. That's a good one, dude.
Hurts because it's true a little bit.
Oh, it's so true, man. I shot that deer out of a truck.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
Well done.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah. Dry
First
Hunter,
place.
DM us and
where you live so we can come whip your ass.
Yeah, DM us and we might send you a t-shirt, unless you're a good buddy of ours, which you probably kind of feels the inside ball right there.
Yeah.
But thanks. Leave us those 5-star ratings. They help. Helps.
We've had 40s. They said 40 something since we've been asking for them. So we're going to ask again. Please leave those 5-star ratings.
Helps
so
the show.
Renella doesn't come down and shoot bows and arrows at our feet. Bows, plural,
and arrows. Hey, real quick, we meant to do this on the podcast with Bobby, but didn't get a chance. We're sending our prayers and our thoughts out to LA, with everybody that's dealing with the fires out there. It's insane. It's really, really sad, actually, and it's already taken out a whole community. And a lot of people lost their homes. Some have lost their lives, and we feel for you. We're praying for you. We're lifting you up. We're gonna post some links and places you can go if you listen to the show and want to help some people out and donate some money out there or whatever. Yeah, we're thinking about y'all. I'm not really close to LA. I've never lived out there, spent a lot of time out there, but I know a lot of people have. So we're thinking about y'all, praying for you.
Thanks for listening to God's Country.
Thank you for listening to God's Country. If you don't know what where speed means, that's a podcast term.
Methamphetamine. Oh, my bad.
Already.
Easy. Hey, we're really excited about this, man.
Thank you. I am excited too, because it's like I was stood up for a day and then I was given a second chance at life. And so from the first time when I was stood up and I got really excited. And so this time when I showed up here, I was a little nervous that you were even going to be here, that it wasn't like a fake building.
You don't even know how close you got to being stood up again.
You don't know how close you guys were to being killed when you left the building after you stood me up again. So, welcome to the city.
Hey, this is how important we think you are.
Thank you.
I had a major artist call me yesterday and go, "Hey, man, what are you doing tomorrow?" And I'm like, "I got a podcast. Well, what do you got?" Knowing exactly what was coming.
I'll just go with Dan. Dude, you're good.
No, he wanted Dan too.
No, he doesn't. Have you heard him right?
Yeah.
No, he really wanted
heard him right, he says.
But you trumped it.
I hate that because now I feel guilty because it's not worth it.
I was wondering
Who
if you
was
were
the
going to bring
artist?
that up. We'll tell you after.
We'll tell you after.
I hate when I do that to people.
But we had a great conversation.
I don't want to
get back
know.
in the room.
I don't even want to know who it is because I want to be like your listeners and be like, I wish I knew. So don't even tell me.
Okay. That's right.
Yeah.
We will tell you, but we're not going
I'll tell you this. If it had been about 3 or 4 artists, we'd have canceled on you again.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it wasn't one of the top 3.
That though I would have understood because the last time you canceled on me, it was just like, hey, they can't go. Here's the thing. And
No,
I had a
there was
baby,
there was a
but
reason.
nobody said that.
Well, that doesn't mean.
And since then, I think you've had some sort of fake baby to prove it. Like you like made up a story. So
like rent a baby.
Yeah, like I haven't seen this baby.
Airbnb baby.
There's a difference, and I've said this a few times, and I don't even mind saying it again now. But I don't. This is not about you. So I give you a perfect example of what's okay and what's not in my mind, and it's only my opinion. But this town, and there is a mix of the artist and the professional, and you need to, if you're the artist, mostly be professional. But the thing about being a creative is you're a little off. That's why you chose to create. And with that, occasionally things are off. There was an artist. Her name rhymes with Pasha. And she had scheduled weeks out to come and do the podcast and the show. Now, I'm no better than anybody else. I probably schedule myself a little tighter than everybody else. But for us to move things around to get this artist in, it was kind of a big deal for us to move around. And I'm like, fine, we'll do it. Get a call. The day of, hey, again, we'll just throw out a random name, Pasha, can't come. And I'm like, okay, cool. They're like, she's sick. And I'm like, absolutely. If you're sick, even if like
don't bring it.
Even if like your throat's a little bad and or it's not going to be your best, don't worry about coming. Like I feel that completely. Problem is, I have a friend at her record label. Let's call it Borner Brothers. We'll just call it a random record label.
names.
And they were like, oh no, she wasn't sick. We heard her cancel, said she didn't want to do it because she was going to the CMAs that night and she wouldn't feel like it. She'll never come on anything I ever do ever again. At least keep the lie consistent.
For sure.
Like,
yeah, you gotta dot your I's, cross your T's on that.
Yeah, because there are things that happen in life where you can't come.
Yeah.
But Brian Kelly did that to me once too. Was like, I hate Tyler Hubbard. And he was like, I need to come on because he just talked to you and said all this stuff about me. And I was like, great. I'm not fans of either one of you, so I want to give you equal opportunity. And so I did. And
there's some conflict between you and them, right?
And you can ask all about that in a second.
I don't want to, but I'm just
But no, not really.
Okay.
Because I don't care enough.
Yeah.
I feel that.
So I was like, great. And I was leaving town.
I don't like either one of you.
I stayed back. And we set up and did a whole, and he calls like the day of and I was like, I decided I'm not going to do it. I'll wait and come do it when I get new music. And I'm like, dude, you should have said you had like a hernia or something. Because like, that's not professional. Yeah. Like I just literally dedicate a part of my day to this. And I'm nothing, but I am a person, like a human being that has time where I need to be doing things.
Yeah, that's valuable too. That's important.
Yes. Even if it's just to me.
Sure.
But we had set up, I don't like that. So either lie that something tragic has happened or you had a baby or because life does happen. My radio show, the radio show part of it, forever. And I got a little pushback in my first book because if anybody is 1 minute late, they go home immediately. They don't stay. 1 minute late from the time that I say to be there. Because we have to get there at a certain time before the show. Now, it's not because I'm like, you must be on time for me. But if you don't have respect for everybody else that got there on time, like that culture then starts to absolutely erode. Because you're like, well, this person didn't come in. This is on time. And so nobody has been late on my show for 10 years. Now,
you remember when Dan was 10 minutes late to your podcast?
We're getting there. Now, listen, kid's sick, car wreck, all these things, that's life. Life happens. But when it's a Dan issue, when he just was like, I decided to go.
Hair's too fluffy.
Yeah, look at some trees, get my hair unfluffed. But anyway, I'm glad to be here, and thanks for not canceling on me. But I would have canceled on me. My point is, I would have understood that one.
I know you probably know who's talking on the other side over there if you're just listening and not watching.
We didn't even. I didn't know where. Delete all that. I didn't know that was on. I'm just kidding.
This is the future governor of Arkansas.
I don't know.
Dancing with the Stars champion.
True.
2-time dog dad. New York Times bestseller,
2-time
host of the nationally syndicated award-winning show, The Bobby Bones Show. The Bobby Bones Show. We've got Bobby Bones in God's country, dude.
Man, so excited about this.
We've been on. You've been kind enough to have us on your podcast two times.
I've had you on twice and him on 1.5 times.
1.5 times. 1 3/4 maybe.
Anyway,
man, you know what? Maybe we should just have a moment of silence for the people that wrecked on 65.
I wasn't even angry.
Yeah, but this isn't about you, Bobby. Mm. This is about the wreck that happened and those people
allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. There's so many wrecks at 65. Hey, we like to do a thing called What You're Mad At.
But it goes like this. Normally, it goes like this.
Wait, are we doing the normal
one?
Is there
a theme song? I love a theme song.
Yeah, just he loves a theme song.
Here's a theme song.
Ready in there?
You good, Ray? What you mad at? Just tell us what it is, what you mad at. Is it your in-laws, kids, might be your boss man or your neighbor's cat? Just tell us what you're mad at.
But today it's
Bones and Groans.
No. Oh. Bones and Groans.
Oh, I like that better. Bones and Groans.
One more time.
What you groaning at, Bones? Bones and Groans. Bones and Groans.
Pretty good. Both those are pretty good.
Thanks, man.
You know what I'm always mad at is the fact that I have to have 2 different chargers for all my Apple products. As in, like when the phone switched, it switched from that flat one that had the very flat with the little
white thing. Mm-hmm.
And then it turned into now the one that goes into the computer. But the problem is my headphones still have that little flat. So the fact that Apple won't have one universal charger is so stupid because I'm always searching for chargers. So I'm mad at that, I guess.
Phones and bones and groans and phones, groans and bones.
I'm also mad that I have like 11.
So go, dude.
I'm also mad that Arkansas only finished 6-6 this year. Football.
If you can make it an owns rhyme, I can make a song out of it.
Well, I have started to invest a significant amount of money into the NIL program myself. Ooh. And then I get angrier when we lose. And it's this weird position of...
Dude, I got another one.
Okay.
Loans.
There you go.
And bones.
But never will be paid back.
Loans and bones.
Loss.
Yeah. Lose all the time.
So
not make a bowl.
That happened. We did a bowl. We had a bowl. It was the Liberty Bowl.
Oh, that's right.
Basically, you play in the backyard.
Memphis?
Yeah, we play that one every year. It sucks.
Was that Iowa?
No, this year we played Texas Tech.
Oh, yeah.
We beat them, but who cares? Like half a team. So my favorite thing in the whole world
and it doesn't mean anything,
is Arkansas sport. No. So that hurt. I'm mad at that.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'm pretty good.
I'm mad at that the shampoo and conditioner in our shower looks exactly the same. So every time I'm bend down and I pick it up, because you got to do shampoo first, it's always conditioner first. And I'm like, why wouldn't you just make the bottle a different color, or maybe just put a dot on the top? Because every time I'm like, then I have to set it down, pick up the shampoo.
Why don't you Sharpie dot at the top of it?
I need a gray Sharpie dot on top.
Is that why you're looking? Is that why you're looking like Warren Ziders today?
I don't think because I talked about shampoo, I look like Warren Ziders.
No, your hair is looking very Zidery.
I like your hair. I think it was great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I actually thought this more about cutting it off. I'm Taylor Lewan. He looks cool with short hair.
He does.
I'm
look
mad.
Good.
I'm mad at teething babies, and here's why. I've got a video to prove it. I'll show it later, and we might post it, I guess, if it's postable. Watching TV the other day, sitting like this on my couch.
Oh, you're gonna tell this?
Yeah. And I got a 1.5-year-old little boy. He's running around. I'm not really paying attention. He always runs up. I grab him.
Pull it up for Bones to see. He just needs, even if we don't show it, he's got to see this. It's pretty great.
You're sitting in a provocative state. So
it's a provocative story.
It's relaxed. It's relaxed.
My little boy runs up. Always does it. His head must have fallen perfect to where he fell on me, and I've never felt a pain like I felt in my life.
He provocatively teethed
on a specific thing.
Yeah,
I can't even say thing.
Yeah,
like
trying to figure out how to.
But there's marks. There's teeth marks and
show him.
He was trying to breastfeed, but for dad.
Check this out.
I want to watch.
Yeah, you do,
bro.
I think you should be arrested.
You got to do the volume.
Oh, it fell right in, and you threw him into the ceiling almost. Wow.
Joker's lucky he didn't get thrown in the Christmas tree.
And you're in pajamas, so obviously there wasn't a lot
Sweatpants.
of
Sweatpants, real thin.
Yeah.
So teeth and babies are not my favorite right now. But we're good. We're all good. We're
like
all
all three of us, we have worse. People have worse problems.
Oh, totally. It's just a quick little.
No, I mean
sometimes they're dramatic. Sometimes they're.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I mean,
shampoo.
my dad left me when I was 5. Is that one?
You mad at that?
Yeah.
What you said?
We also do another segment, Dan.
It's a new segment.
Yeah, it's a new segment that we're coming up with today.
Theme song is amazing. The theme
1, 2, 3, 4. Drones and bones. Talk about drones in Nashville. Drones and bones flying over your house at night.
Gonna get arrested. All right.
Give us an update.
Wait, let's talk about the first time a drone popped over your house. Were you like, man, I've been hearing about these things in New Jersey?
Well, that's why I even noticed. And I must tell you, my wife is the first one to notice them, and she's not conspiracy, believe everything on TikTok person like I am.
Same. I love a good conspiracy.
And I love TikTok. What are you gonna do?
I kind of love a conspiracy. I love a tin hat little theory, dude.
It's fun.
So
it's fun to talk about.
You ever looked up all the conspiracies that turned out to be true? You ever done that? Dig down that hole?
I probably have. There's a lot. I mean,
I've watched a lot of conspiracies though.
Yeah, a lot of them.
So my wife's like, I think that's a drone. I was like, that's an airplane. She was like, I don't know. And
so is that big?
Dude, they're huge. They have to be 10 feet long at least. Because
10 feet.
Yes, because they're up. And I was like, that's not. She goes, look, it's not moving. Now airplanes fly over our house all the time because guess we're like a path on the way to the airport.
You are, yeah.
And so it was dusk, a little darker than dusk, but one flew a little low where I could actually see it. And it was bigger than any drone I've ever seen. You know, and we've probably all used drones for creative reasons, for whatever we're shooting. It wasn't that. And so I thought what anyone would think, I need to figure out what legally I can do to this thing. Yeah. And at first I grabbed the 12 gauge.
Shoot it.
That's what I'm talking about, bones.
Because it was just over the house. And I was like, I don't want it over the house.
No, I don't either.
No.
But then I decided to Google what can you do if a drone's over your house. And they listed out, Google did, thank God. And it was first, before you do anything, don't shoot it, is basically what it said. It said, hey, you idiot, don't shoot the drone.
Yeah.
It said, hey, I know you're from Arkansas and your first instinct is to shoot anything. Don't shoot the drone.
You got a Beretta.
Yeah. Because now it's AI. They know exactly who you are.
Yeah.
And so
did it give a reason why you couldn't shoot it? Because you don't own the airspace?
I know the reason. No, it's because of if it were to go down, they're so big. The thing I listened to, which was some army guy that knows all this stuff, said that some of them are the size of SUVs. Like they're that big. The ones we're talking about.
So you're literally dropping. You could shoot down an SUV on somebody's property.
Well, it could hit the highway, and then all of a sudden you got people hitting it. Now you're involved in.
I never thought about that.
Manslaughter.
I was gonna shoot her down anyway.
Right. Same.
That would have been my first thought too.
It was obviously that's FAA airspace.
Yeah.
And you can't shoot into the space. And so I said, don't do that. You can put a sign on your yard that said no drone zone. What the crap is that going to do?
Oh, shoot. Can't be here.
It's like it's flying over and it's like, oh.
It's too easy.
No drone zone. Bobby Bones house. No drone zone.
Says you can call the cops. What's a cop going to do? Right? It's a drone flying over. Nothing.
Nothing. You're going to arrest the drone?
Exactly.
He's going to pull up and say,
can't reach your handcuffs. You know?
So what's Travis Tritt like?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's exactly
what I'm going to say. He's nuts.
Yeah.
And then we're going to talk about the drone. And then we're going to go, it says you can launch a counter drone.
This is what I'm super
interested in. Now I'm in. Oh yeah, literally, it's on my Instagram. I pulled up and showed it.
I've been thinking about this.
So
you can launch a counter drone,
which is exactly what I'm doing.
Drone battles.
So I started looking up drones. Now, if you fly over 500 feet, I'm a bit educated in this accidentally.
Sure.
Fly over 500 feet with a drone, like a personal drone, it's against the law. But what's the difference of 500 and 580? Prove it.
Right. Yeah.
And so
show me the number.
I'm sorry. How high? I mean, like,
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Guys, I was just wondering, like, how high.
Okay, well, think about this. A light pole's 30 feet. So that's up there.
But even if I just go 500 or 600, I can still kind of angle it up. Yeah, because the drone I bought is very fast and it has the best camera inside of it.
Beat it with speed.
Did you do it to fight this drone?
I did it to count. I will not say that on record. I did it to counterstrike this drone. So I'm going to go up with and bring down counterintelligence of what exactly this is. Now, I've had many calls from different government entities recommending I not do that. But
legit.
Yeah.
That's fun.
That's fun. That's pretty cool.
Kind of fun. I have any mugshots. That'd be kind of cool. That's my first one. Trying to
call your cell phone?
Dude, saving the world. Yeah.
They know your number?
I think they know everybody's number. But if I go to jail saving the world, hey, so be it.
No doubt.
You ever see Independence Day? That's what I'm trying to do.
Let's go.
So they make drones. I don't know if you know this. They make drones
pre-slap Will Smith
that you can attach, like people get by them and use them for deep sea fishing.
Yeah, I got a net for mine.
So you can drop it out of the bottom of it?
Does it shoot out?
It kind of holds it, and then you kind of like...
Oh, dude.
I don't know if I can reach it. It's probably too big, but I got a net for it. And we saw one during the snow, but it was snowing, and so I didn't feel really like...
So this is still happening.
Dude, we haven't even gone a full Counter-Strike yet. Like we're...
Still in prep mode.
I just got the drone a week ago, and then it snowed, and so, yeah, I haven't been to prison yet.
Yeah.
All you got to do is just... All you got to do is just mess up one like prop. Feels like you got to mess up one propeller and it's over. It's over.
Of the drone.
I mean, I think a net would
drop that net into one of them. Just come in contact with one of them.
I'm just wanting to get it back. And one time I went to the mall and bought one of those little helicopters that flies. You know, the guy's like, check it out, helicopter. And I took it home.
They're good at driving
flew it in tree in 12 seconds. And then I never saw it again. So I'm really hoping that's not what happens with this drone.
Reid flew ours into the fire. Remember that? It was like...
Hey, if you need another drone to do like a flank, let me know, bro. I'm in.
I don't want to get you involved because I don't want to be the reason that one, you miss a great ride, and then two, go to prison.
Already check.
Because for sure, if we're in prison, I'm holding somebody's pocket. No doubt about it.
All you have left is for the reason that we don't go to prison because you already got us out of a great ride.
Yeah, well, that's all right. I'm sorry about that, guys.
Hey, I think something that most people don't know about Bobby Bones is that I don't think people would look at you and think of...
Be careful because you almost may insult me.
No.
If it's like a good thing...
I'm not. That you have a history of the outdoors, that you're an outdoor guy, that you...
Oh, fair enough.
You know what I'm saying?
Fair enough.
But...
Or were.
Yeah, or were.
He was.
I love internet now.
But now...
Yeah.
But you are.
Yeah.
Explain Arkansas Keith.
I was literally picking up my phone to call him right now to see if he answers. He's always in the woods.
Love this.
So Arkansas Keith was my stepdad. My mom died, but they were married for a long time. They got married when I was like 10 or 11, and so that's all we did. And I didn't have a dad. I never had a dad growing up. So when you finally get like a stepdad, you're like, what can we do to bond?
Sure.
So it was always in the woods or on the water, but not like skiing, like fishing. So we were, and he's a striper guide. And so...
Oh, he's a striper guide.
Yeah, he doesn't striper guide as much now, but big part of his life, striper guide.
Oh, that's awesome.
What's the biggest striper you've ever caught?
Well, my mom has like a 51 pounder that was mounted for a long time.
That's awesome.
Stripers ended up with us being... They were bigger, but oddly, they weren't as much fun to catch, where a hybrid, which striper white bass hybrid...
Listen to him go.
Well, hybrids were more fun because they would fight. They wouldn't get as big, but they would fight.
Sure.
And so those would be, first of all, we go catch shad, which is the hardest thing to do because you take a net, you throw the net. Well, you guys know this. The net has to be exactly wide open. It goes down, you catch the shad. So you got to catch the bait before you even get to fish.
That's right.
And here I am trying to drive the boat. I mean, I dumped him out so many times.
Really?
Oh, yeah, of course. I'm like...
Because he's on the front of the boat trying to throw the net.
And he's like, go left.
Yeah.
And so...
We almost watched one of those nets kill a guy, drown a guy in a creek one time.
Oh, yeah.
And he still to this day...
It went over the top of him?
And he was wearing it around his neck trying to cross the creek.
Weighted. You know it's weighted, obviously.
Yeah, I got weights around the bottom. Right. At least for us at the time, little weights on the edges to take it down.
He still thinks... He still will to this day say that he wasn't going to drown.
He
was gone, dude.
Was he?
I saved his life.
Was he going to drown?
Yes.
Well, I mean,
he was drowning.
He was... He definitely threw some water up.
I'm gonna try to call Arkansas Keith right now. But if I were to show you like the pictures he shows me, like he sent me, this is yesterday.
That's
Goose
Canada, dude.
Yeah, dude.
It's the time.
It's all dead animals. Hold on.
Arkansas too. That's kind of like that's the spot.
Some like he duck hunts a lot now.
Yeah.
Duck hunting. Let's see if he answers.
You know, my middle name's Keith.
That's a cool story. Can I option the rights on that for like a Disney movie? That's pretty cool.
Tennessee Keith.
Wow. You're gonna answer, but if he calls back, I'll.
That's all good.
Be sure to get it.
Hello?
Hey. Hey, I'm on a podcast right now. That's called what?
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, I'm on a podcast right now called God's Country, and we were talking about hunting and fishing and how I had my decade of it with you. And like, what do you think we did the most? What kind of hunting did we do the most?
Probably deer hunting.
I'm probably still hunting, right? I just go sit in the cold and freeze my balls off.
Yeah, mostly.
Yeah. And then they had asked.
I want to know the biggest striper he's ever caught.
What's the biggest striper you've ever caught?
42.
How long was it?
How long was it?
40. How long was it?
Yeah.
38 inches.
Man, that's fun.
Were you in the woods this morning?
I was, yes.
What were you doing?
I went duck hunting this morning, but
Are they flying? Are they on you?
It was awesome last week, but they just left after all this bad weather.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I talk hunting and fishing, I just go, let me call Arkansas Keith. That's about all I got.
Right?
Yeah.
Have you killed any big deer lately?
Have you killed any big deer lately?
I have not. The duck hunting last week, man, you could not believe what it was like. I've seen 400 or 500 one day, and then the next day, and then there's nothing. So I guess the cold weather pushed them on out. But
when the cold weather comes, do they go north or south when the cold weather comes?
You know where they move to when it gets cold?
South, I'm assuming. Everything's froze up here.
Yeah.
The Nimrod WMA, it's froze in a lot of places. So they moved on south, I'm sure.
All right. That's all. I just wanted to get you on and say hello and let these guys hear you.
Yeah. Good to hear from you.
All right.
Nice to meet you, Arkansas Keith.
How's you saying?
Yeah, talk to you soon. Bye. So I used to duck hunt a lot, a medium amount. I can give you a great duck hunting story that personifies my career as a duck hunter. By the way, the most action, right? Wasn't my favorite thing to hunt because I would just argue that I shot it.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Every time.
I think most duck hunters do.
Yeah, just like,
it's mine. Yeah.
We had great duck dogs, though.
That's another level of fun.
Because Arkansas Keith would train them.
Yeah.
We had great bird dogs. Like he trained the crap out of them. So if we were going to go, mostly it was quail. We did a lot of quail hunting. So with duck hunting, it's you sit, you hear them, everybody shoots, some stuff falls, you claim it's yours, and dog goes and gets it and brings it back, right? That was me. I tended to, what I was known for was falling in the water with my waders on and water going into the wader, and then me just sitting in the truck freezing to death, taking them off in my underwear. Oh. Like that's kind of my thing. That's kind of known for that. So I didn't like getting wet.
Especially, nobody likes getting wet, especially in January.
I'm like taking a shower now. But yeah, no, it was, I did a duck hunting the most active. Still, we killed a bunch of deer, but I hated still hunting. I'd much rather hunt with dogs because at least you're trying to hear the direction they're going and get out ahead of them. I don't know if you guys have deer dog hunted a lot.
Been around it.
My God. It's the best because you're in the truck. You're just trying, or on foot, you're listening, you're just trying to get ahead of where they're running the deer.
Yeah. We rabbit hunting was like our first introduction to hunting. And it's kind of the same thing, right? Like you're just listening to the dogs because that rabbit's going to be out in front but you're still like, it's active. You're moving, you're hearing them. It's not just sitting in a tree for hours.
A lot of states have outlawed running deer with dogs now because it's so hard to keep them. Like, because the ground is split up so much, it's hard to keep them on one track. So a lot of that deer dogging stuff is.
Our dad did a lot of deer hunting.
Shot everything.
No idea what's legal and what's not anymore. I hunt drones. I don't even hunt.
Dude, you do hunt drones.
I hunt drones. My first gun was a 410, but where I come from, you just get a 410 at age 10, and it's like, go on. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's it. Yeah. Keith's like, all right, we'll go out and shoot once. And we shot some cans, and he's like, you're free to go. So I just go squirrel hunting after school every day.
You passed.
Dude, I was like 10. I know it's wild to think back. I'm out with a shotgun.
10.
With my 410, which, by the way, is a shotgun. And you can say it's a small gun, whatever. But
dude.
It'll mess you up.
Absolutely blow your head off.
It'll mess you up.
Yeah. Blow your head off.
And I'm just, just moseying around, shooting at crap. So you're right. I don't think people think of me as that. I'm really not that anymore. Love good Wi-Fi. God, I love it.
Yeah.
And I don't like being cold. So not really my thing, but could I talk it? And did I live enough of it for over a decade? Oh, for sure. And especially on the water too, like fishing. I worked at a marina as well. Like, what do you need me to fix?
Let me show. I got an example of how to not talk it. I actually sent it in our text. Have you seen this? This is This is Zuckerberg on Rogan.
Oh, I watched that.
Oh, please.
This is let me just preface this. Hey, listen, we can sniff a non-hunting human out in like 3 seconds.
Oh, do you sniff me out as a non-hunting human?
No,
because I don't hunt now.
No,
but do you believe?
Well, no. We're talking
You've
about
already said things that justify you forever as being someone who knows what the outdoors is.
Okay, I'm not lying about what I'm saying.
No,
I would be able to tell if you were. I mean,
in country music, there is a portion of people that will lie just to be able to personify that they are what they are.
Same people that are like, my hero's Merle Haggard, and it's like, okay, here's 4 pictures. Which one is it?
Yeah. What's your favorite song?
Yeah.
Check this. This is Zuckerberg.
Directional mic, put it in the front.
This is Zuckerberg lying about being a bow hunter, which is so easy. Did you see
on
this?
Rogan?
Yeah. Although my favorite is bow and arrow. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's, I think, like the most, that feels like the most kind of sporting version of it.
Yeah, if you want to put it that way.
And you just kind of go and hang out. And
yeah, and you have to be fit.
Yeah.
Especially if you're mountain hunting.
And then actually carry the thing out.
Yeah, and carry the thing out. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would like to make an observation even about that. I don't know a single bow hunter, and I lightly bow hunted.
Yeah.
That would call it bow and arrow.
No.
Not once did any of my bow hunting friends
a
ever
couple
say
bow
bow and arrow.
That's what I'm saying. That's a clear indicator that you do not know what you're talking about.
That's a red flag. When somebody's like, you know what, my favorite is bow and arrow. You're like, oh, okay.
Let me skip to this. But if you did have a bow and arrow, you would know who makes it.
Not off the top of my head.
You have to know.
Yeah, no, this is embarrassing. This is embarrassing.
Do you know how old it is?
No, it's not old.
Okay.
I think it's like a...
Did you get someone to coach you?
Yeah.
Who
Just
coached
trying.
It's basically a bunch of the guys who...
A bunch of the guys coached him.
The music's great.
The cat is lying, dude. That is a straight up outdoor.
It's been like once.
Somebody bought him
at a
one.
range.
Yeah, he shot it one time and put it up in his closet. And
it's probably a recurve.
I just wouldn't go on like the biggest podcast in the world and just continue to shovel, you know what I'm saying, a hole into the. We'll probably get banned from Facebook.
Well, as soon as he said bow and arrow, I knew he's full of crap.
Yeah.
See, even you knew. That's what I'm.
And I'm not a bow hunter, and even I knew that. But I grew up with a bunch of bow hunters, so
yeah.
I saw you on Bear Grylls.
Mm-hmm.
How was that whole experience?
He said,
it's awesome. So
did you do like, was it the shows that like you're lost and you're trying to find your way to an excavation point or extraction point? My bad.
Excavation.
Well, we didn't have a tractor. We weren't like digging holes or anything.
I got a 2-year-old that loves diggers and bulldozers. So. I've been watching a lot of Stinky and Dirty. So
yeah.
So I went on. So I'm one of the only 2 people that's done it twice. And the other person exactly like me, the guy that did Magic Mike, Channing Tatum.
Oh, yeah.
We're the only 2 that's done it twice. Mostly probably because our abs.
It's only hot guys.
Yeah, extremely hot
guys with
guys.
abs.
Get to do it twice.
I went to Norway the first time, and you don't meet bear until you're out with bear.
Oh.
And so as soon as I got off the plane, they were like, ready to go. And we drove right out, and they gave me the clothes. I switched into them. They're like, you'll be back in 48 hours. I don't really know what was going to happen.
Wow.
And they do take you and leave you. But the thing is, bear then shows up in some dramatic fashion. And you're with them for 2 days. Now, we had to travel so many miles to get to a point. Yeah, so you get to that point. Like, there's never a threat of you're going to die, because what he told me was to bring celebrities on that show. And I don't count myself. I was probably the least famous person in the history of that show, because they have real celebrities on there.
You're a celebrity. You're a celebrity.
I am moderately known in rural areas, but thank you.
You won Dancing with the Stars.
Again, least famous person ever. But they wouldn't get to have like Courtney Cox or Roger Federer or whomever if there was a legitimate chance that you would die.
Sure.
Yeah.
But they do make it harder for some people. And so we landed in Norway. It's cold.
Like less important people, they're like,
oh, for sure. They're like, we kind of don't care as much if they die.
They're like just a tad bit of
for sure.
If he breaks his leg, it's fine.
We had to like trek across like 30 miles of Norway of like fjords and down and
30 miles,
whatever it was.
Okay,
it was a lot. It was a lot.
Okay.
And it was really hard.
Some of it looks sketchy.
And I had to go down. Like I was scared, really scared. I don't like heights. They really push you. It took 2 days. You do sleep out in the wilderness. That sucked. You're wet.
Ugh.
Like this. There aren't all those fake bells and whistles on that show that you think there might be, because it's is uncomfortable the whole time. The great thing is Bear is awesome. It could not be a kinder guy. So we finished the first episode, and I'm standing on like the side of a helicopter, buckled in, that's like flying all crazy. And I'm thinking, I don't even like adventure. I want no adventure. I've had enough adventure in my life.
Literally on the show, on one of the shows, they're interviewing and he's like, I'm scared. I'm like, it's quoted. It said, I'm the biggest weenie baby in the world.
Don't want it. Been in the woods my whole life. Don't want to be in the woods anymore.
It's okay.
So we do it. And it was one of the higher rated episodes. And to the network, they're like, well, here's our least famous guy getting some of the highest ratings.
Yeah.
Like, what are we missing? And it turns out I have a big audience. And also, Hollywood doesn't understand the power of country music or the power of people that aren't on a coast. You know, there's this very much, if you're not in New York or LA, you kind of don't matter. And I think I was able to prove, well, that's not true. Like you're ignoring, I mean, look at what's happened politically. It's just a bunch of people that have never got to have a voice that are like screaming, somebody's listening to me. And people that live in these really blue states are going, how does this happen? And people like myself who grew up in a red state, I'm like, oh, I can tell you exactly why it's happened. People have felt like have never had a voice.
They don't matter.
And that they don't matter. And here's somebody, true or not, that says they're listening to them and nothing else has worked in the history of their life to make them feel like they matter. So why not take a flyer on something?
Come on.
And so that's like the culture all the way through politically now, even in media. And so the show does really well. As an episode, Nat Geo comes and goes, we want to give you a show. And I'm like, cool. Let's like go, investigate some resorts or something.
Yeah.
Let's go do something. And it ended up being Breaking Bobby Bones, which is a show where they tried to kill me over and over again. But before that show, they were like, would you like to come on Bear Grylls again? I said, no, thank you. I said, well, I've already said my story. Like I went on and I was like, I feel like my purpose at some point, which I think I'm doing it already, but at some point is to focus primarily on, in a very selfish way, helping people that grew up like I did. Food insecurity. I think if you don't have food, nothing else matters. Like, how do you go to school and learn? How do you have goals bigger than what you can see at arm's length? Like if you don't even have food to eat, right? Like it's fundamental. And so there are a few things I'm very passionate about. And one of them is food insecurity, then education. And so I think if I have to run for office, and I don't want to, but if I ever feel like I have to, I have like 3 things I care about. I have a lot of things I kind of care about.
Sure.
But I'm very selfish and I know what affected me. And eating, the most basic thing, is something I care about greatly because I didn't get to have 3 meals a day every day.
Wow.
And now this is not even for sympathy. It's just
No,
like,
I'm just saying,
but it's great. It's great.
but it's
I
like,
think you're already, because I'm that demographic, right? Not that didn't eat. I've always eaten. But I'm saying I'm from the South and I know of places like you're talking about, and that immediately hits me, which goes back to your point of why I assume the episode connected is because there's a lot of people in the country that feel like that
don't have a voice, that aren't heard at all.
At all.
It's not even that people can hear a voice and ignore it. It doesn't even get to the people.
That's right.
And this is how I feel about politicians in general. Most politicians are people that grew up rich. That's why they get to be politicians, because they have the money to not work and to just go run for office. That's 95% of politicians.
Totally.
So they don't know what it's like to have to struggle. And so I do my story on the show. Mom died, drug overdose, in her 40s, never had a dad, ABCD, right? And it happens. And I tell them, I have no more story. Like, what do you want me to do? Just go out and be scared again? No, thank you. It sucked. I don't want to be scared.
I'm good.
I was cold. I was wet.
They pay you?
Like $3,000.
Oh,
nothing.
geez.
No, that wasn't about pay.
No,
and I made a bunch of money on Dancing with the Stars, but different, because you're competing for something. But now that was never about money. That was like, we've chosen you and we only let famous people do it. And they all said they couldn't show up on this date, so we now choose you. And so they say, will you come back the second time? And I said, my first answer was no, because I don't have...
probably no thank you.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure it was. Yeah. No, thank you, kind ma'am or sir.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I don't have a story to tell. Yeah. And they said, okay, let us make you another offer, next week, whatever. And just know we've never asked anybody to do it twice except for Channing Tatum. And I was like, well, that is interesting to me. They would ask me to do it twice. And that's not a thing where they constantly bring people back. But I'm like, I have nothing to say that I feel like I wouldn't be repeating myself. Like, because they want you. They want real you. What do you care about? Mm-hmm. And so they came back and they were like, and my wife and I were engaged at the time. And they were like, what if we've never had a couple on the show? What if you and your fiance did it? And I was like, she would never agree to do that. She doesn't want to be public at all. The last thing that she would ever want to do is be on television. And she had been in therapy that day, and the therapist was having a talk with her because we had a stalker for a long time. She had a stalker. I've had a few. She had a stalker it got really bad. FBI involved, really bad and unsafe, right? And so she had been to her therapist, and her therapist was like, you know what? You're experiencing so much of the bad stuff that comes with this job. Why don't you experience some of the good stuff too? Instead of just, and I caught her on a day.
Yeah.
And she was like, my therapist challenged me to do things that make me feel uncomfortable. And she agreed to do it. And I could not believe it. So I committed, and we went and did it a second time the next season. I think it's episode 5 and 6. And we did it again. And that was better. I had a different story to tell because I was more scared of commitment than heights. And I'm so scared of heights.
Right.
And so that was that. And she's an athlete and she crushed it and made me look stupid. But we did the show twice. Bear's amazing. It is really hard. It is what it looks like. I didn't want to do it a second time, but I did. And us doing it together was really fun.
Yeah.
The outdoors has a way, especially in that kind of environment, in that setting, it has a way to help you overcome whatever obstacle you're facing in life. Like for instance, whatever she was going through, to get out there and get out of your comfort zone and do something like that and scale down a rock face that if you fall, you're probably going to really hurt yourself or die.
Yeah.
To overcome some of that stuff, it lets you know that you can, you're all right. You're gonna be able to overcome whatever it is in front of you.
The stalker situation is pretty nuts. You good?
Yeah, it sucks. For me, and again, I don't want to hog. I'm sure you guys have stuff you actually want to talk about because
we're talking about.
I'll quickly hog everything.
No.
This is the
enjoy
relationship.
the hogging.
Yeah. Okay. So for me, I didn't get married till I was like 38. And I never really was in a serious relationship before my wife. I kind of ran from them, and I would always blame it on, I'm investing in work because I don't want to be an impoverished kid again. And some of that was true, but some of that was I never really had relationships, even family relationships. Like no one ever said they loved, and my mom was an addict, and again, cared about her deeply. But when you're an addict, it's hard to exist and be there. The one time that I really felt empathy for her, because I did feel sympathy a lot. Empathy was has to do with the stalker situation, but not the one. I got jumped outside of work once going into the building.
In Nashville?
No, in Texas. I'd already had one instance when I was in Arkansas where I got pistol whipped going to a radio event at an ATM. Got pistol whipped. It's the whole thing. It was really scary. Gun held to my head. I got jumped going into work in Austin, and it obviously really messed with my head, where I couldn't close my eyes without somebody coming up behind me. Had a bunch of death threats. Still get them occasionally now.
Why are they so mad at you? I don't really understand.
It's a numbers game. It literally is a numbers game. I mean,
just so many people.
Yeah, just imagine you're standing on the floor here, and everybody that can see you standing on the floor, just people right here, and then as it lifts, imagine all the people that can see you. Mm-hmm. Just the floor just lifted for me, and so I have a lot of people watching. Who I was.
Sure.
And so
I still don't understand why that would make somebody want to kill you. But yeah, okay.
People are crazy.
It's mostly just 10 people to one want to kill me. Nah. 10,000 people, maybe. 1 million. There's usually one in there that's just crazy enough they can't have you. Nobody will.
They can't stand. Yeah, can't stand everything about you.
I've never thought about it like that.
Yeah.
So I've had all these stalker situations or these instances, and I couldn't sleep. And so I go to my doctor, and I'm terrified of not medicine, but I'm terrified of being addicted to something because of what's in my family.
Yeah, you've seen it.
Again, mom was an addict, hard stuff too, like meth, and she had me at 16, so it wasn't like she never had a chance.
Oh yeah, it's tough.
So it's not even like I'm angry. It's like you have a kid at 16 and you're already poor.
Sure.
Like you're looking for ways to feel. So the one time I had empathy was I'd gone through 3 or 4 phases of trying different things to sleep because I was sick all the time because I couldn't sleep. And my doctor was like, we can always try sleeping pills. And I was so scared of them, but I took them. But then I wouldn't like remember nights and stuff, like at all. Like I would drive off with the gas thing in the car. I mean, just the crazy things because of those sleeping pills.
Yeah.
Like my real fear was like flying on an airplane and like somebody wakes me up and I'm like beaten off on the airplane and like go to jail because I was on a sleeping pill and didn't know it. Like that's the kind of stuff that I was like I seriously was like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
And so I got off sleeping pills, but I went through, it was so hard. Like my vision was bad. I was sweating for like 5 days. I felt like I couldn't walk.
Trying to come off of them? What were they Ambien or something?
It was something called, it was a version of that.
Okay. Because I know I've got some, you remember, I had some roommates that would whack out.
Well, for
and
me,
then drive to Fat Mo's.
Oh yeah,
and
you can't.
What is happening?
It was coming off of it because I depended on it because I took it for a year.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, I can't do this anymore. But once I was going through withdrawals, they were so bad. They hurt me so bad that, and I wrote about this in my first book. It was the first time that I ever slightly understood my mom.
Yeah.
And when she would try to quit, how hard, dude, all I took was sleeping pills. And it was, imagine if you're doing meth or and you're quitting.
And and it's easy to be on the outside of that and look at somebody that's going through that and be like, well, just, they got to stop.
That's exactly it.
I
put her in rehab and
but you can't understand what they're going through.
And you can't lock somebody in rehab, right? And she would leave and I'd be mad. So had a lot of that relationship. But that's the time that I had empathy there. But that all comes from me being jumped and having these stalker situations. My wife moves to town. Now, I got to grow with, we'll call it fame. I do not think, there are actual famous people. I think I'm moderately known in places.
Yeah.
I can tour and sell out 2,000 seats in a theater doing stand-up. That's pretty good.
Sure.
But it ain't Ariana Grande.
Right.
I got to grow with my fame. Pardon the term. I'm just going to keep using it. It's going to make sense.
You're all right.
I got to grow with
here.
it. So when I go to dinner and someone records me eating dinner, I don't even notice it anymore. My wife did not get to grow. It would be like having a baby and all of a sudden you get it at 6. Well, you didn't get to grow and grow as a parent as the baby grows.
Yeah.
You're thrust into the situation.
So she's thrust into it. And again, it ain't Bieber, but it is weird. And so we go out, people record us. We go, and I don't mind if somebody's like, hey, can I get a picture? But it's the people that like won't ask, but just want to record like secretly. And for her, it made her really uncomfortable.
I can imagine.
And I didn't at first I was like, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
But I didn't give her the grace I didn't have the understanding
How could
she
you?
didn't.
You grew with yours. Yeah. And she was thrust into it. Yeah, I understand that.
And so she ended up getting this really aggressive, crazy stalker that would appear.
It
blows my mind.
That would leak personal information on the internet that would come after her. And here she is, and I feel
like leak things that only you should know.
Yes.
How did this person get access?
That's a good after the podcast story.
Okay.
But the FBI got involved, and so, it was really unsafe feeling for her, and she already wanted nothing to do with being a public figure. That's not her thing at all.
Did you feel guilty about
Terrible.
that?
I'm telling you, I felt so bad that I would kind of blame her because I'm a child and I would be like, come on, I can't believe. But I felt it was all because I felt so guilty that I put her in this situation.
Sure.
So we have had that, but for her to go to therapy and then do the TV show, which loops all the way back around, I was so happy that she did it. And she's in a pretty good place now, but some of the stuff that she quote signed up for, she didn't actually sign up for. You kind of didn't know it was part of the gig, and it's not always part of the gig,
right?
But she's a beast.
Did they ever get into, and just to touch on that one more time, and if we don't need to answer this,
you can go anywhere you want. I have no idea.
Did they ever get in with y'all like about the stalker situation, like into the psyche of the stalker and why?
Yeah, sure. We ended up finding who it was exactly.
Did he look like those guy or she or whatever it was? Look like movie stalkers, or was it just a regular normal dude? Like, did he, when you saw him, were you like, oh, that guy looks like a stalker? Or were you like, oh, it's just a normal
what's so funny? And I do the same thing. It wasn't a he. Because I do the same thing with like, most dudes are stalkers.
So with it being a female, what did they tell you was a jealousy aspect of it?
We didn't know at first. So we hired a forensics dude, I probably spent $80,000 on detectives.
Yeah, because you're doing everything you could possibly do to alleviate the situation because you kind of feel guilty for it.
And luckily, we have the resources to do that, right?
Sure, yeah.
We had to go and I had to go to the Department of Justice to get a subpoena to go. It was wild.
Yeah, it sounds wild.
It's wild. It sucked. But my wife is a champ, and that's tough. And I'm just glad she did that show, and you can watch it. And she kills the show. She's such a better athlete than I am, and I consider myself to be a decent athlete.
You're pretty good. I think you're athletic.
Yeah. Oh, I definitely.
Dude, I am. Here's
the
thing. If you can dance,
but I can't really dance, but I can work.
Yeah.
I was a bad dancer. I won that show.
If you can dance, you're an athlete. Like athletes can dance.
Most athletes pros are freaking professional athletes. Like I've been around a lot of professional athletes. Those pro dancers on that show, professional athlete.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
Until you see it in person, you don't even know. Like it's crazy.
Pro athletes are crazy too. Let's talk about that for a second. Like catching, like playing catch with a professional pitcher, or throwing football with an NFL quarterback.
I
different
think until you do that, you kind of can't understand how far
removed you are from it,
dude. Even as an athlete, like
yes,
we were a million miles from.
Yeah, professional
the bottom of some NFL guy, like a million miles.
One of my best friends he was a former #1 tennis player, won a Grand Slam. Andy Roddick, like maybe the last American tennis player to win a major. It was at my wedding, right? Like he's one of my best friends.
Yeah.
And I would go and train with him. And I remember the first time I trained with him, I was like, God dang, that was exhausting. It was the 40-minute warm up.
Wow.
Like it's the work that goes in.
And he doesn't necessarily look like this mega athlete.
I don't know. In real life,
he does.
Does he?
In real life, he's a monster.
Okay.
And he's 6'2", 6'3", broad shoulders.
I'm thinking of the wrong guy.
His hand-eye coordination.
You said Andy Roddick.
Yeah. But even then on TV, his hand-eye coordination is wild. I do a podcast now that's called Lots to Say with Matt Castle. The NFL hired me to do this show. Before I came here, I was on NFL Network doing stuff, which is crazy.
Nice.
Which is crazy that I'm like
you're a sports guy now.
I'm an expert. Yeah. I don't know crap. But even Matt Castle, who is my partner in this, 6'4", and he was a starting quarterback for the Chiefs for a few years, went in after Brady got hurt, was a backup quarterback for a long time.
Yeah,
won some games.
Yeah.
But wasn't like a guy that won a whole bunch of Super Bowl. Dude, he decided one offseason, and as he was playing at USC, he was just going to go play baseball and started pitching for the college baseball team. Like that kind of athletes are athletes. It's wild.
Yeah, across the board.
And I just work hard.
Yeah.
And try to get as close as I can in rec league.
We have a best buddy he was a Cy Young Award winner pitcher. And
who is it?
Jake Peavy.
Yeah.
And dude,
two-time world champion.
You can literally play catch with him. Just play and catch, man. And I'm talking about 40 yards or just throwing a baseball.
Dude, do it now. 10 years removed from the league. Do it right now.
And the way that the ball hit the glove was different from anyone else I'd ever caught. And I've played baseball my entire life. But the way it was like when I throw a baseball, I come by the side of my head. When he threw a baseball, it was like it came from like up here.
The heavens.
It was insane. And it would hit my glove and just nearly take it off. And he's not even trying. But you would catch the ball and it's the
same thing with CJ when you're throwing
exact thing with CJ Beathard.
Yeah, when you're throwing football with CJ Beathard, it's coming at you so fast. But if you get your hands in the right place, it's like somebody's pushing it in, like just putting it in there.
Your hands.
I think
it lands. It comes so hard, but it lands so soft. And only those guys know how to throw a football that way.
We are a bit jaded, but it's that way with vocalists.
Oh, for sure.
Here. Now, we get to be around a lot of great vocalists.
Yeah, for sure.
And
we're of the world class. Some of the best.
The giants.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, I'll get tagged, this person's good, or I'll be somebody, and back home in Arkansas, and they're like, wow, the person, and they are, but it's like a good ball player back in Mountain Pine.
Yeah.
Or a minor leaguer. It's like, wow, they're doing, but until you actually see somebody who has not only the natural ability, but the work ethic, the ability to strategize, it's like a professional athlete.
Totally.
And we're in it every day, so it can get lost on us. It'd be like somebody in pro ball, like in the front office.
Yes.
You probably get lost. Same way with those singers.
You've worked with a lot of different vocalists and had them on. Who is somebody, and I know you've had all of them, but like, who was someone that popped on your show that immediately, because we've had a couple of those, even doing this year, that like when the tones started coming out of their esophagus, we were like,
takes you somewhere.
oh shit, this is super special. Is there anybody that just immediately caught your ear? Like,
yeah. And I think some of them though are it's because again, everybody's great. Not everybody, but we're around greatness. Sometimes it's how distinct it is.
Totally.
You know, more than.
But
I can categorize and I'm going to give you the easiest softball answer, but I'll use the first time I ever heard him sing from 3 feet from me. Was Luke Combs. Way early on, he was on the show. This is when I was like in my breaking artist phase, which now I'm just in the me phase because I'm just doing content, right? At this point in my career.
Yeah.
It was like a freaking cannonball was coming out of his chest. It was violent.
The line.
And not only that, because it's so violent, it didn't get credit for being pure. So vocally, that's a pure singer. Because it's so violent and because of what he sings about and how he dresses and you know, he doesn't like change it up for anybody else. He's just him.
Yeah.
At times that can be lost because of everything else around it.
Absolutely.
With Luke Combs, I was like, first of all, it scared the crap out of me.
Yeah.
Because it's violent.
Yeah, it's the first time.
Yeah, it's like 100. Picture those 104, but it can paint the corners.
Especially when you're sitting this far from him,
Yes,
right?
yes.
It's almost like filling a speaker with bass.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's a vibration
Yeah,
that you can feel.
And somebody that can throw 104, you don't talk about how they can paint the corners. You talk about, dude, he can throw 104 miles an hour. He's also got some control, but but really, it was about the control.
Yeah.
Totally.
If I were to go like, who do I hear? And I go like, man, there's like Jillian Jacqueline is somebody that had a deal for a bit.
Yeah.
Great independent artist. Like there's something about her tone and there's something about, it sound total cornball, but I feel fair saying it because it's not cornball because I'm around it all the time. Like I feel like I can feel what the heck she's saying without her even saying it, just by the sounds coming out of her. And is she gonna out sing somebody straight up? Let's just sing loud no, but she sings with such texture and character.
Well said.
That it's just different.
Yeah, it's well said. Honestly, I mean that is what it is. It's the texture, it's the character.
It makes you listen to it different.
It's the inflections too, like a really well, and that's a great analogy you made about the pitcher. It's not that he can just throw 104. He can paint corners. He can put it in the pocket. He can slow it down.
And his curveball's probably nasty.
And sometimes those people don't even know that they're doing that, and that's when it's beautiful. Like when you were talking about with Luke early on, he didn't necessarily even know he was doing that. And then you get to like a more refined thing, which was like Colby Calais. Like when she opened her mouth on our show, we were like, "Oh my god,
I never heard anything.
This is like angelic, ordained kind of
heavenly
deal."
Yeah.
She was not. I mean, that's the one that pops into my head. I mean, are there any?
Cassie Ashton did it.
Cassie
for me
Ashton's nuts.
Amazing.
She killed me,
and she's like the most artistic human in all ways. That hasn't. The time hasn't caught up with her yet.
I agree.
You know, she's been a bit ahead of her time.
I agree.
And that's been a penalty toward her.
Sure. As far as the success thing goes.
Yeah.
Her
As far as like
nuts.
mainstream success. But she's ahead. She's way ahead and it just hasn't matched up yet. And if you just stay at it, eventually it's going to catch up, but she's already going to be there.
Yeah.
Right? I'll get one other one real quick was...
Please, this is fun.
No, it's again, this is going to be a total cliche one too, but I got to sing with her. And so we do a show every year for St. Jude at the Ryman where I'm in a comedy music duo, but we have a full band of studio musicians. There was a time where we were playing festivals and it was crazy. So I had to have a band.
Yeah.
And
I remember those days.
Brandon Ray was in that band.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Ray.
We would play after Old Dominion.
Yeah.
And we'd go on in our Wiggles outfits because I put us all in stupid clothes so people would know we weren't serious.
Producer Eddie.
Yeah. And I was all embarrassed to play after really good acts.
Yeah.
Because the only reason we were playing these spots late in festivals is because we sold a bunch of tickets.
Yeah.
And we didn't sell a bunch of tickets because we were like a great band. Eddie and I were just kind of funny and we had people that came to shows.
Oh, I'm sure they ate it up though.
Sometimes they were confused though.
There were.
Sometimes people were
Like,
confused.
we don't really like this.
They were just like, what's happening? We like the
Hardcore
Wiggles.
country fans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'd play Faster Horses and they'd be like, what is this?
Yeah.
But the person, I sang once at the Ryman with Carrie Underwood. And so I have ears in and, you know, it's always kind of a slightly distorted and you have certain things being fed through your ears. Like there's only certain instruments I want to hear so I can keep up. Because again, I'm not really a musician.
Yeah.
And Carrie comes out and opens her mouth and it was an alien.
Yeah.
It was an alien, and
out of the not of this world.
And
yeah,
never have heard anything like that before because it was just so pure, strong, and immediate. And it was like, F everybody. This is what I do, and it kind of sucked the wind out of me for a little bit.
Yeah, it's fun when that happens too. As someone who's, well, all three of us, as people who are in this all the time and hear all the time, when that pop of like genuine inspiration hits your ears, it's a very beautiful thing, and it doesn't happen all that often. I mean, there's tons of great singers, man, and there's tons of great singers that sing great songs, but to have that occasional just like reset on, man, this is kind of not of normality in music. That's a beautiful thing. I think Kelly Clarkson is that too.
I want to get your take on this, and I'm glad you mentioned Luke because I feel like he was one of the cars at the beginning of this caravan of country music that's happening right now. Where do you think the state of country music is, and where do you think it's going?
So the state right now is Garth Brooks and Dunn 90s right now. It is. We're in it sometimes, and I have friends that have toured a bunch that didn't quite know how big they were getting because they were always on the road. Kind of one of those things.
Yeah.
We're living right in the middle of country music now. And the only reason that I can kind of feel what other people that aren't in country music, because I get a lot of calls or opportunities based on just how big the format is. Meaning there'll be a TV show call and go like, hey, you're a pretty good host, but obviously you're like you have the biggest listening, whatever, in country music, and country music crushes. So we definitely want to talk to you. Like I'm literally getting offers because of the popularity of the format. And you're looking at three, let's remove I don't even call them so much legacy, but like Chesney still doing it. But for the sake of it, we'll call them legacy. Garth, legacy. They're selling out football stadiums. Okay, cool. Rare, you can do that at any point. But when you have Combs, Wallen, Zach Bryan, you have three guys under like 40 who are selling out football stadiums.
On the regular.
Yes. You
Two
can't.
nights in a row.
2 nights.
Nobody's doing that anywhere else in the world.
No.
What I wonder is, when does Morgan get corny? To not his fault, but sometimes you get so big that then people have to start acting like they don't like you.
Oh, yeah.
It has nothing to do with the art you make or the person you are.
Sure.
But Coldplay is a great example.
Definitely.
Freaking love
process,
Coldplay.
yeah.
But then you get so big that since everybody likes you, people are then going to go, no, I don't like that. That's lame.
Yeah, Nickelback, same scenario.
Absolutely.
People love them so much that it reversed on them.
And we've seen
And then it reversed back where now they're cool again.
Yep.
Creed's doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Think Swift.
I wonder. I don't think she ever got corny.
No, she never really.
You don't think she took a dip in the middle and then she came back with this?
No. I think her followers have been there since
I
day
think
one.
Taylor kind of crushes.
All right, my bad.
Yeah, that's kind of stupid thing to say.
you
But
missed
anyway,
that. Strike me.
all the Swifties. It's just me and Dan were cool. Anyway, I wonder, because he's getting so popular, when does he get corny to no fault of his own?
Totally.
Because there is a
I can't believe it hasn't happened yet, if you want to know the truth.
There is a threshold where that happens, regardless of what you're putting out and how you're putting it out.
Man, his fans pretty diehard.
But you know what I think it is? I think it's true talent. I mean, I know there's a lot of stuff going on with him, but I think the literal sound of the guy's voice is so addictive.
But you're not going to tell me Coldplay didn't have that. They're the most talented band, one of them in the past 20 years.
I'm not going to tell you that. I am going to tell you that I feel like the quality of Wallen's songs has not even kind of stammered.
It doesn't even have to be Morgan. I'm just saying he's the only one that's there, that's at that place where it's like, it could be the God's Country podcast has gotten so big. When does it become corny?
Totally. No, I know.
I hit a stage in my career different where I got corny because I was on every station and everybody was and so you got to kind of pivot at times and do slight recreations of your, which I've done in multiple ways. But that's what I wonder about Morgan. Like, when does it get corny? Because he's so big. But with the state of it now, it's never been better, never been healthier. But that is always what leads to the pig getting a little too fat, and then it gets slaughtered.
So we're close to being slaughtered.
Eating corn fed.
What's close?
All of our careers are in jeopardy. That's what you're saying.
Not at all. But again, then the format gets so big, the same way an artist can get big, that it gets corny because then everybody's wanting to.
Ooh.
So it's the same, right? It's the same model. It's lift someone up to knock them down. It's what we love doing in America.
Yeah.
We're crushing it right now, and eventually we won't, and then we will again.
Yeah. Cyclical.
So that's my answer on where I think country music is. The one thing that I would like to say before we finish is that, and I was just doing an interview about the Grammys a minute ago, and they were asking me about Beyonce, and people try to get me on the got me's all the time.
Oh yeah,
people love to try to get me because they will love to print an article.
I'll just mark out that question.
Dude, I get
clickbait
for sure, right?
Yeah,
let's go viral. Everybody's trying to go viral.
Dude. Everybody wants a bit.
So I'm doing this thing about the Grammys, and they're like, "How do you feel like Beyonce's affected country music?" And I said the following: I said, I hate, now as a person, no, but I hate people that say, well, that's not country music.
You hate people. Got it. You heard it here first, guys. Bobby Bones hates.
Let's
go viral.
that listen to something and go, well, that's not country music. And I will tell you why. Because in the root, and I do consider myself a bit of a scholar when it comes to traditional and even pre-traditional country music, which is why I've been lucky enough to be a part of a lot of really great documentaries, like Charlie Pride documentary, like these guys that are, like my grandma raised me on gospel records of Andy Griffith and modern sounds, Ray Charles, but then it made me want to learn even previously. Where I find the issue to be is people that will hear something that is not considered traditional from when they were a kid and be angry at it and go, well, that's not country.
Yeah.
And you'll see where the Beyonce comes into it. And what I said to them was, that person annoys me. We also need them. I said, because if you were to find what country music actually is and go, this is country music, it would be a slave from Africa that came over on the slave ship that brought a version of the banjo, and a European who came over as an immigrant who bought a fiddle.
Yeah.
And they came to the southeast part of America, into the mountains. Why do we think country music is in the southeast?
It's Appalachia.
Absolutely.
For sure.
And what was there? Slaves.
Yeah.
And that is what country music was. That's the root of country music.
Yeah, totally.
So if you want, and then you can go through the times, and if they gave me full minutes of TED Talk, I'll go, some of the times where country music was absolutely said, you are a fraud. If you go to Bob Wills and the Texas Playboys, whenever they amped up a freaking steel guitar, it was sacrilegious.
Yeah.
That is not country music.
Right.
To us,
it has to be.
That's like pre-country
the cornerstone of country music.
For sure.
When Garth is you can do Johnny Cash. He's from Arkansas. My grandma's from Arkansas. She would tell me stories about people basically protesting Johnny Cash concerts because he was a Christian artist and he was a rock and roll guy. But that's not country. You can't do. You can do Garth and how he toured. You can do Sam Hunt and how he talked. You can do. So my point is, if people aren't always pushing the format in different directions, we die. Now, you don't have to go along with every direction. And some directions have been wrong. But when someone hears something and goes, that's not country, I feel like you are ignorant in what country music is and will always be, and is a growth.
And could be.
Yes.
Yeah.
And may not be.
Right.
May not be.
And you might actually be right.
Correct.
But you're not right if you say it before it's over, because there have been so many genesis that have happened where people have said, not country music, no way. And so when the Beyonce record comes out, it's pretty good. And it was like, why isn't she making it? Like, one of my really good friends is Charlemagne the God. And he's a black dude, doesn't know much about country.
Yeah.
And those two things don't have to do anything together, but he is. And he does a hip hop show. And he's like, why is the Beyonce record like making it? And I'm like, well, I can tell you, this town is so incestual that, and he goes, because like Post Malone is. I said, here's the thing. It's not about that she's black and he's white. It's that this town in this way sucks. It's incestual. Well, Post Malone moved here and lived here and did my charity show and had Paisley on and integrated himself in the community and
immersed himself in it.
And right or wrong,
Agreed.
This town reacts to that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Fair or unfair.
That's
This
right.
town reacts to that.
Yeah, it definitely does.
At times, unfair.
Yeah, it's almost like they give credit, like you got your cred because you wrote songs with songwriters.
Where Beyonce did not do that at all one bit, and so she got no look.
It almost feels like an infiltration at that point, like somebody's trying to get a little
And
bit.
we all hate
just
when
because it's a
someone
fad.
just comes to country because they're failing somewhere else.
Absolutely.
We all hate that. I'll
get out.
never lie about that. Like, don't use us because you suck somewhere else.
Sure. And think it's just going to be an easy way to,
But you know who doesn't need country music? Beyonce. Post Malone. They don't need it.
No.
They did that because they wanted to do it.
Yep.
I have no problem with people that love the format.
Me neither.
And so my anger wasn't that people weren't playing her because she was black, because I don't think that's what it was. I think it was some people wouldn't play her because she didn't come to town and like play the stupid games that some people they have to play.
Yeah, that they would rule as authenticity.
Yeah, like, oh, you're not country. You can't. You sang R&B song. Okay, well, so did Post Malone.
Yep.
And then people go, well, he's white, so they're letting him. I'm like, no. As unfair as it is, he showed up to town and like wrote with everybody.
That's
Got
very
a
true.
Paid his dues a little bit.
Yeah, and dudes that shouldn't have to be paid. If you make great art that's country, let her rip. So country music, I like to think of it as like in a big latex condom, and its arms are always like pushing its way out of it.
Gross.
And yeah,
Gross,
and like
real gross.
thank you.
Yeah, cool.
And like which ways do we? And sometimes the arms come back, and sometimes they pop through.
Oh yeah.
And so that's me most Friday nights, honestly.
Disgusting.
But I love where country music is. I understand everything is cyclical. It's a monster right now. It will not be a monster again. It will be a monster again, and it will get so big that it becomes corny.
That was great.
Yeah, that's
That was
awesome.
great.
Dude, I could do this for 4
I know.
hours.
And before
man.
you get out of
Well,
here,
that's what happens when you guys come to my house, and I'm like, we could do this another
I know.
hour.
I know.
It's-
Before you get
it's
out of here,
12:40.
we have a close family friend that she's 14.
Yeah. Sure. Somewhere in there.
Biggest Bobby Bones fan in the world. We wanted to give her a chance to ask you something. So
I'm Ellie and listen to your show.
sorry.
Bobby, I'm Ellie.
Hey Bobby, I'm Ellie and listen to your show every morning and listen to all your podcasts, and your shows really just help keep me motivated and be successful, and you're just so successful in your life and you just continue to exceed those limits, and so I was just wondering what keeps you motivated and what keeps you just on your own path doing your own thing.
Thanks. The honest answer, I kid you not, this is not me just saying it.
Shout out
I
Ellie.
Preface that. Ellie, thank you so much for even caring and knowing who I am. But it's extreme insecurity. I think a lot of us get into art because we are wildly insecure and we're looking for love in different ways.
Touching a nerve there, Bones.
Fear-based. It's all my success is fear-based.
Very honest.
Vulnerable.
And I am not scared for something to suck because I have done many things that have sucked, and I get right back up. And nobody remembers. Nobody cares. Everybody's so
Nobody
focused on
cares.
themselves. The thing that I say to myself and to others the most, which sounds harsh at first, is nobody cares. It doesn't matter. Now, what I mean by that is you have your very, very, very select few people in your circle, 6, 8, that you love, you would give an organ for. The rest, they don't really care. For a minute they might, but they're so worried about themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And nothing
you're right.
matters, meaning I have done things, I have tried things unsuccessfully that have bombed out. Nobody cares. You know who cares? Me worrying if other people care.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. They're not thinking a bit about it because everybody's so focused on themselves.
No.
The beauty is nobody cares and nothing matters. So as long as it matters to you and you care about it, go. And if it doesn't work and you still love it, do it again and do it again. And until you don't want to do it anymore, do it again. And you will learn so much from that. This is my entire second book, Fail Until You Don't. I'm not a writer. I don't know how to write a book.
Yeah.
I've written 2 New York Times bestsellers. I don't know how to write a book.
Yeah.
I literally don't know how to write a book.
Right.
It's just I'm going to do this and then getting up and doing it again because it's not going to work the first time.
Yeah.
So that's my key. It's showing up on time.
Damn.
Shots fired.
And also not being afraid to fail because nothing matters. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
A quote that changed my mindset in that is just what you're saying. It's like you'll quit caring what people think about you when you realize that they don't.
They don't.
And all you do what you feel like you're created to do, which us is write songs and you know, do this thing and be great dads, but you do it for yourself. You don't do it for anybody else. And when you can tap into that, you've tapped into a dangerous level of catching dreams, of making things happen that you've always wanted to happen, because at that point you don't have any limits, right? Like there's nobody that can stop you if you're only you can. So if you can get to a point where you're doing it because you want to do it, there ain't no limit.
I was fortunate. I used to not think, I'll conclude with this. I was fortunate. I used to not think I used to be very resentful about this. I was fortunate that I grew up extremely poor and had nothing to lose.
You were fortunate that you grew up extremely poor and had nothing to lose.
Because what's the worst thing that's going to happen to me? I can try big things. What's the worst thing that's going to happen to me?
Nothing.
The same thing.
Even. I'm even.
Yeah.
You
Been
know
at
what
the
I was?
bottom, yeah.
Learn how, dude, I was good at being poor.
Right.
It sucked. I was good at it though. I figured it out.
Yeah.
So where I used to resent that so much. And I used to resent all the normal family and all the things. like I am grateful for it in such a way because I would not be here because maybe I would have been like, I don't know, this is kind of comfortable here.
Yeah.
Like I had nothing to lose.
Yeah.
And there's real value in having nothing to lose. And I have to remind myself of that now because I do have a lot of stuff to lose. I'm rich now. It's crazy. I can't believe it. And so
Heck yeah.
And
congratulations.
Thank you. That's one I'm proud of. And it's like you see my house is awesome, right?
It's awesome.
Yeah.
That pool, I got to get in that pool.
And I have
dog
to,
bridge.
I have to remind
rich
the
people
dog
have
bridge.
dog
if you have a dog bridge,
You're rich, yeah.
Yeah, but we did that with just plywood and napkin. I'll be honest with you.
it looks nice.
It's like I have to put myself there. That I have to remember that mindset, or I'm going to be timid in action.
Can I ask this real quick? Do you live in fear that can be taken away?
Absolutely, every day. My business manager, which I didn't even know what that was, right? Until I got rich.
Yeah, I mean it. Yeah.
Hold on, someone's trying to get in my gate. This is funny. It's a hilarious rich person thing. Hold on.
Awesome.
Hold on. Someone's trying to get in. Granted them in my gate. It's all right. Don't worry about that.
Speaking of rich
guy.
Granted.
The question was, do I fear my business manager, which I never had because I was like, why am I going to pay somebody a percentage to like handle crap? And then you realize when you're paying tons of people, she had to tell me to stop overpaying bills every month because I'm going to be okay if I lose my job. Like she had to come to me and say, stop overpaying your bills because I wanted to have a bit of a surplus to cover my water bill for 3 months.
Sure.
Yeah, it's a little security.
Dude, this is like 4 years ago. This is not even like, so that never leaves. I don't want it to leave. I could be a little healthier with it.
Yeah.
But I used to resent it. Now I'm grateful for it in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Hey, you brought your guitar. Is there anything you want to say to do with your guitar?
I just brought to be funny, honestly. I see people bring guitar.
Bring it up. Show them. Show the people.
You guys are killing me. I have to go.
Oh yeah, he's got to go.
Okay, look, I have this guitar. It's red, and I do comedy shows. And I was gonna play a couple songs for you. Like I have this one song
Yeah, play it.
that people laugh at sometimes, and so it's called the Target song, and the whole thing is hold on. It's this don't go shopping at Target. Hold on. With khaki pants and a red shirt on. Don't go shopping at Target. It's the whole thing.
It's great.
So the whole joke was like, I needed food for my Labrador. So I went down to my favorite store. I didn't think about the clothes I wore. But I learned a hard lesson, that's for sure. 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't go shopping at Target. With khaki pants and a red shirt on. Don't go shopping at Target. With khaki pants and a red polo shirt on. That's switch up songwriter move.
That's good.
Songwriter move.
Yeah.
An old lady came up to me. She said, how much for this cream of wheat? I said, today, old lady, it's free. And now she's doing hard time for shoplifting. 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't go shopping at Target. With khaki pants. Okay, you guys stole me off. I'm a great singer.
So great, man.
It's
So
really
great.
good.
All right.
So good, dude.
All right, thank you.
Hey, bro, thanks for being you, man. Thanks for.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I was gonna come in and be like Yakov Smirnoff, but I decided not to. Do you guys even know who that is?
I don't.
Okay, look it up.
Okay.
Yeah, Russian comedian from like the 80s. It's one of those references, like a Family Guy reference that sometimes you miss. It's way smarter than the people watching.
Yep.
And I just did that to you guys. Yes.
You got me.
Yeah. In Russia, you don't drive car drive you. All right, cool. All right, anyway.
Sure, that was funny when I was.
Hey,
one.
will you come back on?
Yeah. Yeah.
Great.
For sure.
I remember Bobcat. You remember that guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy. It's funny. It's funny that was comedy at one point.
He had a TV show too where he was a little talking thing.
I remember that.
And like Sam Kinison.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Thank you for having me, and God bless.
Hey.
And thanks for hanging out in God's country, Bobby Bones.
Bones.
Thank you.
I wish we-